kneeling mentioned, there was a bunch of kids crying. And I'm not a crier, but, I mean, I wanted to. But at that moment, I felt God come into me, because I feel like I was bringing comfort to kids that night. And it was God moving in me. It wasn't me doing it. Everything that happened, or that I did physically, it was God giving me the command to do. So I had a couple friends tell me that it meant the world to them what I helped them out with. So I just want to thank God for having me do those things. So.
You know, it's true. It's really true. It has been ever since I've really gotten to know him. When he speaks, you're just kind of sitting there going, how did he know that? I'm going to hold this because you got a page with you, right? Okay. Ready? I'll stand kind of over here.
When I went to this mission trip, I thought little of my relationship with God. I was more focused on my worries and my fears. Also, I didn't go to God for help because I never got any answers from him in the past. I always believed he was there, but it didn't help my relationship, dedication, and faith get any stronger. That changed for me and others during the Week of Hope. The theme of the trip was repair, and I felt that was exactly what God did with my relationship with him. During the week, we were able to share sightings of God in your work, and I had one that clearly showed the Lord's work for every day. He also blessed me with an amazing group with Pastor Ken. My crew connected with me almost immediately and accepted me for who I was. It was so easy to talk and be open with my crew, and I became very vulnerable and open in exchange. It seemed everywhere I looked, I saw signs of God doing work. The most powerful moment of the trip was for me on Wednesday night youth group devotions. The Lord overcame multiple people in our group, including me, and showed that he was with us. That night I told the Lord that I wanted to fully dedicate and put my faith in him. At that moment I felt chills run down my body, and I felt stronger than ever before. I now have a strong base to build my relationship with God off of. Overall, I'm so glad I took part in the trip because it has forever built my spiritual and physical relationship with the Lord. This proves that the Lord is always working in our lives and will bring us right back to him, even if we lose sight of him. Amen.
Why don't you tell us what we worked on in our group, who we partnered with?
We were a part of HFAF, which helps veterans to come back from the war, get back on their feet, and help them find jobs and kind of take care of them. And we would clean out the homes. We did a lot of basement work almost every single day. We would go into a house or two and we'd clear out the basement of any dirt, grime, junk in there, while the other people in our group would help out the people upstairs and clean that part of the house. And one of the God sightings that I had, and I shared at our camp, was we were cleaning out some of the junk in the basement, and there was a large white piece of cardboard, and on it was wrote Jesus. And what we got out of that was that if you're alone in the dark and you're far away from God, he will come to you and he will save you and bring you back to him.
What side you worked on? What did you do?
We went to a Peace Learning Center, which is in the middle of Eagle Creek Park. They help out. It's like a giant house that was turned into a center. They do lots of things there, and they help at-risk youth who have been abused or neglected in their lives.
Cool. All right, read it to us. I'll stand like that. Okay, so everybody can see. Okay, go ahead.
Overall, this mission trip has been the best experience of my life. The car trips were amazing. At first, it was awkward talking to some other people. Now we can freely talk without care. Really, I believe that God put me where I was that week. This trip had taught me so many things. I learned from the Peace Learning Center that no matter what your past, if or neglected, you can make a difference. I learned that not having another member of my youth group with me, that you don't need to know someone for a long time to have a great relationship. By being the youngest in my crew, I learned that just because you're young, it doesn't mean you can't make a difference as much as someone older and bigger. I believe that the devotions were the best part of this mission trip. The theme was repair, be a story of transformation. I think that's exactly what happened. Even though they were a little emotional, my faith is stronger, and I can honestly say that I felt God on this week of hope.
What changed about you? Where'd all your hair go? Man, 5 pounds is gone, man. Are you ready? Come over here. Now tell us where you worked at first aid. Where you served.
I worked at third phase. It was a homeless shelter for women and children, and that gave them like free food like all the time, and there's a store where they could just go in there and get stuff.
Okay, go ahead and read for us.
For my testimony, I will share about how much God has been at work throughout the week. The trip was very powerful in both the fact that we got more work done in a few hours than I thought could have been done in 2 days, and in spirituality. On Wednesdays when it hit me the most. Going into the week of hope, I expected it to be mostly work with a little bit of devotions mixed in. During the first 2 days, the staff was saying how everyone would in some way transform and repair their life. However, I didn't see what they were talking about. I didn't know how I could possibly transform. Then Wednesday night, youth group devotions came, and we did this thing with like mirror paper, and I still don't even know what that is. But they challenged us to look into our eyes through the paper because it like reflects, and think about what we saw in our hearts and minds. And I looked, and I maybe like lasted 5 seconds before I just put it down.
Stay here. Okay. I have a hard time keeping this over.
Okay, sorry.
You're doing good.
Where was it? And then the speaker, like, I don't know what they're called. They're called red shirts, but yeah, they're leaders. And she challenged us to keep on looking into the paper and until she was finished praying for us. And what I saw through my eyes, what God put on my heart that was in me was guilt, fear, anger, and pride. And I knew that really had to change. So I kind of, because over the years I got to hold in my emotions more, so I didn't cry yet. And then we were supposed to walk up and tape it to a wooden cross they had. And so I walked up, and I'm doing pretty good at holding them in, and I put on the piece of paper and put it on the cross, and then I just started crying. I just wept. And so I just walked out of there with my, I don't know the word for it. And so I walk out of there just weeping all the way down, and then I'm going to the bathroom and wash my face, and Alex gives me a big hug, and he tells me I'm there for, he's there for me, and and that really made me feel better. And so we all prayed during devotions, and we were all crying. We were just really losing our minds and stuff. and so we are praying over each other, and everybody was transformed, and you could see it like right there. Everybody was transformed. So.
I think it was the night after Aiden was sharing. He came up to me after the next night's devotionals, and he comes up to me and goes, "Something's happened." He said, "I'm speaking words and stuff, and I'm not even thinking about them. It's just like God's giving me the words." So that was within 24 hours. Okay. Thank you, Eddie. Welcome, Bert. I'm going to stay right here. Try not to move too much.
Can I have like a stance or not?
Shaking? How about that? You good? Okay. You'll do fine.
While we were praying one night, God said to me that if you take the first leap of faith, I'll be there to catch you and carry you the rest of the way. And I told someone this, and she said to me, she was like, well, how do you know that it was God's voice? And I said, well, thank you. I was like, it's just different. It wasn't me. And it made me think of like two like cliffs almost, and one side was like distractions and everything that was keeping me away from God, and then the other side was like just God. And I thought about it, and I realized that I would always walk to the very edge, and then I would turn back, and then I've committed my life to Him before, but I felt like I had to keep recommitting it, and it wasn't exactly like real until this week. And another thing I noticed was that I was like a little baby, like when they would go to jump in the pool, and like they'd walk to the very end and then be ready to jump, and then they'd be like, wait, and then they'd have their parent closer and closer until they were like almost touching them. And they get scared because they don't have that like parent right there to catch them, you know. And I feel like before, like, I don't even know where I am. Okay, and then I thought of that because I felt like I could make that leap of faith if only He did something for me. Like if He were right there to do something for me first, then I could do it. And I knew that it shouldn't be like that, so I was like playing church. And this week I've committed my entire life to Him, and this time I'm not turning back.
Where did you work at?
I worked at Tuxedo Park, and Ken was my leader, so he kind of already said what we did.
Over here. Do you want to just read it, or do you want that? Okay. Okay. Ready? First word you served at?
I served at 3 different places. We first served at like this Hispanic church, and the pastor's house had burned down like the week before. And then we got moved 2 days later to the Tuxedo Park Church, and we worked there for a day. And the next day we got moved to a food pantry. I forgot what it's called, but yeah.
Okay. You're on the move. Okay, go ahead. Look at everybody out here. I'm going to stand right over here. Okay, you go to town, okay? You're great.
Can I hold this? 'Cause
You can hold it. I'm going to be over here watching you, okay?
this week I felt that God sent each one of us on this. Like this.
Couple inches. Not even with your chin.
Like
Now you
that.
go. Okay. Lock it in. Have to lock it. Lock it right there.
Okay, this week I felt that God sent each one of us on this trip for a reason. There was so much we did to help the community, and my career week number 4 was moved to 3 different sites. We were needed at each one. We thought that was a great God sighting, and I got up and shared that that one day. I forgot what day that was, but on Wednesday a bunch of people repented and got saved, which was really awesome. That includes myself. And I grew so much closer to God in our youth group. It was so cool to meet new people and become like best friends in a matter of days. So basically, to sum it up, it was an awesome week, and I feel really transformed.
Where did you work at?
Yeah, I worked at the Boys and so. Okay. This week on the mission trip, I was assigned to work with the 5 and 6-year-old girls at the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis. The very second I walked in, I was overwhelmed by the amount of joy and happiness in that place. I don't know how many hugs I received, but there were many, and I immediately became their best friend. They were some of the most friendly and loving kids I've met and welcomed me into the club right away with bright smiles and lots to chat about. Little did they know, or even I know, how much I needed this. Throughout high school, I've struggled with being able to love myself, which in turn made it hard for me to love my family, friends, and God himself. I was stuck in my own perspective of my life. These kids, no matter what situation they were in, having to walk to the club, to stay somewhere safe, or dealing with abusive families, they had so much love to give. They made me want to receive love and give love back to them. God puts us where he wants us when we follow him, and this new perspective of life has opened my eyes. It made me realize how thankful I am for my family and the people I have in my life. I'm so thankful for what God has provided me.
Which was the same place Amy worked at, and yeah, it's kind of like an underground railroad type place for women and children. So, all right, so yeah, I worked at Third Phase, and the director there was named Ruth. And when we first got there, she seemed kind of unhappy, and I don't really know how else to describe that. I mean, I think a lot of people who have worked in ministry kind of understand how when you work there and you kind of get downtrodden from all the bad things you see and hear, I think that's kind of where she was at. Anyway, as the week went on and we got to know her more and we worked hard and she saw that we were working hard, she opened up a lot to the point that my crew noticed Ruth was being a lot nicer both to us and to the women under her care, where like at the beginning of the week she might get kind of mad. Here she was just being really gentle and nice to them, and it was amazing to see. And then she also said she wanted to keep in touch with us and send us her newsletter and stuff like that. And I really feel like the team before us from the last week of Hope planted some seeds, and we were able to reap those, but then we were able to plant even more so that the next week of Hope can go in and do even more than we did. And it was really cool to be part of that process where, you know, a lot of times I've seen where, I don't know, it's all just kind of been all in one for me, but it's cool being part of a longer, drawn-out process where it's just cool to be setting it up for someone else. So,
Cool. Yeah, you're right. Yes, you can hold it. Stand over here, though, and watch.
I worked at Carmel Heights, I don't know, Health and Living Center or something like that, and it was a nursing home, but it was also a place for, like, I think people over the age of 50 that were having, like, surgeries done. It was just like, like recovery center. So I've been on a lot of mission trips before, and I've seen God do a lot of amazing things, but before this one, like, I had a different, I guess, attitude about it. Before this week of Hope, I wasn't feeling excited about my relationship with God anymore, and I didn't have much of a fire under my feet to share him with others or even just seek him out myself. I guess I just felt like I was putting God on the back burner a lot. Then we went on the trip, and every night kids go up and share God sightings. And I started to realize how much God is working every day and how exciting it is. Then on our Wednesday night, I had God point out to me that, like, it wasn't just me not being excited anymore. I just wasn't opening my heart or opening my eyes to him anymore. So that night I was able to open my heart and have it worked on, like, myself, but I also saw everyone in the youth group have transformations as well, and it made me so excited to see and feel God's presence again. Then the next day was our last day of work, and Jenna and I were basically there. We just walk around and visit with people. There was a lot of sadness there. It wasn't a very happy retirement home. So on the last day, Jenna and I went and visited an elderly man named Bob, and we spent a lot of quality time with him, just learning about his life and even getting some advice from him. Just from talking to him, he felt very unloved and uncared for, and it was really hard for us to see. Then through streams of tears, Bob took our hands and said that he appreciates our time and that he's never seen kids with this light for God, and he will only continue to pray that we can stay on this path because we have really good things in store. Then Jen and I asked if we could pray for him, and This was the first time in my past 7 trips that I have ever prayed for a stranger. And Bob's openness to us praying for him was a true God sighting. It really gave me the reminder from God that I needed to keep seeking him every day because he has so many great things in store. So Week of Hope really lived up to its name because now I have so much, my hope is in God, and I really feel transformed.
Rebecca Hagan and Mackenzie Monroe, join us, please. Just come on up here on the thing. You know, one of the things that we have emphasized for many years here with our young folks is serving. Okay? I can't say that all churches do that, but New Life does that, and we have done that for many, many years. Okay? We believe in serving here, the body, but we also believe in serving the community. So I remember a long time ago, it was a big deal, which it still is a big deal, to get a 100-hour award for community service. That doesn't come easy. We have 2 100-hour awards today that we're going to hand out to Rebecca and Kenzie, and we also have 2 200-hour awards that we're also going to hand out to Malachi. I think I saw him a while ago. Malachi, are you here? He's teaching. Malachi was the first and only until this year to have that award because Malachi volunteers for everything that is under the sun. And he's awesome. He's awesome. So what I would like to do now is, Gabe, congratulations, 200-hour community.
They were down and out because all the youth, the children have left for the streets and are in bad shape. And what they get out of this Week of Hope was not so much all the work that's been done, but the life that came back into the church that week from these young people, from all the young people. And I just want to stress how blessed we are here with these kids and these youth, because it is life. And I got to see that really firsthand and hear about it. We felt your prayers, and we felt the excitement on Facebook. The kids did not have phones, and it was unanimous. They're happy they didn't have phones, but the adults did. And we got to go through and really see how you guys were just interacting on Facebook all the time, the pictures. So thank you so much. We felt that. One of the things that happened, unfortunately, on Tuesday night when we were at the Incredible Pizza Buffet, which was great, is it was incredible. Is that I unfortunately lost the big binder that had everything in it, and that was unfortunately. And I'm just going to tell you now, all your medical releases and everything. So thank goodness nobody got hurt, but we feel like we think it got thrown away. But it had all the tickets to the zoo. We were supposed to go to the zoo on Friday, and it had cash, and it was really upsetting to me. I want to give a big shout out to a person that worked behind the scenes here for 24 hours to get all those tickets replaced for free, and that is Tina Seeger. So stand up.